Every year, blues rock guitarist Joe Bonamassa works with Epiphone to create a guitar that is inspired by a classic Gibson design, and in this case we have one based on the 1963 Gibson SG, and I have to say that Epiphone did such a great job recreating the authentic Gibson experience that this guitar even came with a real cracked headstock. Now that I got that joke out of the way, I want to talk to you a little bit about this guitar because I think it looks really cool. I think it has a few unique features, but when you compare it to other Epiphones and other guitars on the market today, this has to be one of the worst ways you can spend $1,400. Made in China, $1,400. So let's talk about some of the good, let's talk about some of the bad, and why I think this is just a guitar that no one should really buy. And now we're at the point in the video where I'm supposed to actually play this guitar for you, and I'm in a lose-lose situation. Because if I tune this guitar up to pitch, someone's going to be like, oh my god, you shouldn't put that much tension on the headstock by tuning it because you're going to break it even more, how dare you? And if I don't actually tune the guitar up and play it, someone's going to be like, oh my god, he did another guitar review where he just talks and doesn't actually play guitar. I don't really know what to tell you. So starting with the good, if we look at the headstock, I really like these tuners in particular. So a lot of the other Epiphone guitars come with these vintage inspired Gibson tuners, and I always thought that those felt very, very cheap. But these are nice and big and they're comfortable to turn. And the one time I tuned this guitar up before the neck cracked, it was an enjoyable experience, so I like that. And I already posted a very quick video about this guitar, and I got some really, really funny comments and jokes, so I'm going to just play those at random times throughout the video as a thank you to all of my really funny subscribers. And I also love the overall headstock design of this guitar, the specific logo they used, and especially the aged cream binding on the headstock. So I think this looks really, really great. And again, the tuners are great. And then we also get a Graphtec nut, which is going to be great for tuning stability. So again, apart from the headstock break, so far this guitar is doing pretty good in terms of the specs. And then when we move to the rest of the neck, we have a very nice piece of ebony, and we have mother of pearl inlays. These are listed as mother of pearl by the Epiphone website, but of course, I don't know what the exact material is. Either way, they look really, really nice no matter what they are, and they're finished really, really well. We have Epiphone Slim Taper C profile, 22 medium jumbo frets, and we have a little bit of a white binding on the side here. Now, I of course couldn't spend a lot of time playing this guitar, but the fret ends feel good. The leveling was overall good based on the little tool that I used. And again, so far, there aren't any big issues with this guitar, of course, apart from the neck break. So then we move to the body, and I think this is what caught most people's eye, of course. And there is a lot of unique and interesting and even good things to talk about here. So the first thing I should mention is, of course, we have 3 humbucker pickups, and then we have the Vibrola bridge, of course. Now, if you've ever played an Epiphone Vibrola bridge on their Epiphone SG model, more on that later, but this is for sure the same exact Vibrola that comes on that model, just so you know. The only difference is that for the bridge, we have these nylon saddles. Then we also have a white pickguard, and you know, the white pickguard matches the white nylon saddles, matches the white arm of the Vibrola with the white binding. It's an attractive guitar. Like, no one can deny that this guitar definitely looks good. And the last difference here, which I actually really, really like, I'm sure Gibson aficionados have seen this before, but I've never seen this on any guitar. When we go to the different knobs here, there is a little bit of a triangle metal piece that pokes up next to the knob that shows you exactly where your different control is. So as you turn the knob, you'll see exactly if you're at 10 or 9 or 8 and so on. And I think that's a really, really great feature. And especially when you have 4 different knobs and you're trying to get a nice mix sound, I think that's a great addition. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, Andre, you just explained why this guitar is actually really, really good, apart from the neck break. Why is this the worst value guitar anyone could buy? The reason I'm saying this is the worst value ever is because Epiphone already makes an SG with a Vibrola and a red finish, and that guitar is $600. This guitar is $1,400. That guitar is $600, and I've played both and I've reviewed the other one on the channel already. So the first thing that came to my mind is what is going to make this guitar more than double the price of the other version of this guitar? So let's talk about it. The first and most obvious difference about this guitar compared to the other version is that this has 3 humbucker pickups instead of 2 humbucker pickups. I already mentioned that I really like the little triangle things on the knobs. We'll add that as a feature as well. And we'll even throw in mentioning the fact that this has nylon saddles because the other one does not, and we'll say that's a feature as well. One thing that I didn't like about the cheaper version of this guitar is that there was a veneer on the top, and because you can see the difference between the veneer and the wood because of the cutaway on this guitar, there was a very clear distinction between the two, and it honestly looked pretty ugly. On this guitar, we don't have that, so that's definitely better than a cheaper version. Now, when we move to the neck, we also have another unique feature. This one has an ebony fretboard with mother of pearl inlays, and the other great feature about this guitar is definitely the tuners. I like these tuners a lot more than the other SG by Epiphone with the Vibrola. Now, I did forget to mention one difference, and that is that the Joe Bonamassa version comes with a case. And I couldn't make this up. Just look at what the case is already warning us about. And honestly, this is the thing that really annoys me about some guitar companies. It's like, yes, if I were to go and buy the tuners myself, buy the new bridge myself, buy these different knobs myself, and another pickup, and bring that to a tech and have it installed, that might cost $300 or at the absolute most $400. And that will bring the original SG with the Vibrola to about $1,000. And obviously, if you're a guitar company who's manufacturing guitars, it's not going to cost you hardly anything to get those different features on this instrument. So it's like, even if you wanted to charge me $1,000 because of these features, I would be like, all right, they're kind of unique, it's cool, I'll give it to you. But $1,400 for what amounts to maybe $100 of upgrades if you include the mother of pearl inlays. I mean, that to me is insane. It's just totally insane. And just to be clear, I don't dislike Epiphone guitars. There's a few of the classic blues guitar players that I really love, and they play guitars that I want to try, and I'm of course not going to be paying the Gibson price for those guitars, and that's where Epiphone is a great value in my opinion. So yeah, I can't recommend that anyone buys this guitar, not because it's a bad guitar. I don't think it's a bad guitar, again, apart from the headstock break and the fact that the design is really bad because headstocks on these guitars break all the time. Apart from that, this is a pretty good guitar, but for $1,400, I just don't know why anyone would buy this, besides the fact that it looks really cool. You're probably wondering why I bought this guitar myself, and the truth is that when I saw the guitar and how great it looked on camera when Joe Bonamassa was playing it, I thought to myself that there has to be something unique about that guitar to make it $1,400, one compared to the other Epiphone guitar that is $600. And now that I've had both, I can tell you that there's really nothing that separates them apart from the things that I already told you. So in summary, if you want an Epiphone guitar with a Vibrola, I recommend the $600 guitar. And then you can get the upgrades that I personally recommend, the tuners, the nylon saddle bridge, and if you really want to, the cool little triangle tone knob things. That will cost you less than $100. You can also buy a hard shell case for another $100. Actually, the hard shell case won't even protect the neck from breaking, so you might as well not even buy that. Then you have $800 spent on your Epiphone SG with a Vibrola, and you still have $600 left to buy an entirely new Epiphone SG with a Vibrola and have that one stock. So, yeah. Definitely sign up for Patreon if you like unscripted, candid talks like this.